or Game.ru. Burial Chamber once again the first map. So let's just see DDK obviously going for that Blazkowicz pick. Anarchy, Nyx and Scalebearer. Very reliable team composition, especially on this map particularly. And looks like Cass with the Anarchy. So again, both teams having that Anarchy, which we've seen do so much work today, I assume will not be changing anytime soon.
I think all four of those champions that we saw work wonderfully on Burial Chamber in particular. DDK going to sort of be like, I suppose, that dedicated damage role. That's really what Blazkowicz does, where his act of defense is not through utility, it's through just sheer honest damage output. Like, I'm going to get my gun out, I'm going to get a second gun out, and now I'm just going to aim better than you for a bit, and you're going to die. That's kind of what Blazkowicz's role is. Scalebearer, he's going to sort of be able to both defend and run the soul because of the way the ball rush can sort of just go from one point to another really fast, taking minimal damage, really important. Anarchy is Anarchy. We've seen him put in work throughout the entire tournament so far. Definitely that dedicated soul runner who can get around really quick, hard to hit, hard to pin down, especially on Burial Chamber where he's got lots of room to move. And then finally Nyx, who is really good at stealing power-ups and stealing important items when they spawn if you can time the Ghost Walk correctly.
I'll tell you one of my favorite things about this lineup though that Miasma has drafted. It does not matter what power-up spawns, and it doesn't matter who picks it up. There is no bad combination of power-up to champion on this team. If Scalebearer gets protection, he's invincible when he ball rushes, basically, for the most part. Like we saw, the only time we've actually seen Scalebearer taken down with protection was last map, when it took three people suspending him in the air for like 5 seconds straight to take him down. You give Scalebearer quad damage, and his point-blank charges now insta-kill you. Blazkowicz, the health regen with protection, the quad damage on someone like that, and then Nyx and Anarchy with protection becoming impossible to sort of track down, and then with quad damage just becoming lethal with things like the super shotgun or surprise LGs.
Yeah, we can see actually Cooler. I believe we saw, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but we saw Cooler play on Sector last week, which was a different team. Looks like Cooler is on this roster now. Oh, he was on the roster last week, and I'm just...
And Fortune back again. Oh. Yeah, and instantly Miasma are able to get hold of this obelisk, and they can get A immediately, and Cooler goes down.
Now, they already have control of Obelisk A, making those runs around the outside, but I don't think there's someone, obviously, Cass going almost sort of sneaking by and just took the soul away from under their noses.
Yeah, and he's getting away clean. Oh, no, he isn't. Juvenile is ready to catch him on the way, and they're going to send this one back now. Demon gets it, passes over to Juvenile.
Well, there's plenty of members of this team waiting there. They're going to uncontestedly drop this one off. Now, although they sort of did manage to take it under their noses, it's not going to be a huge sort of make or break situation because they've still got that percentage lead. Now Cooler goes down again.
Oh, and Fortune gets taken down too.
Right, now with that 20% lead, we'll see what they can do with it. Dude, actually,
this is actually looking really good for Miasma. They're doing a really good job defending.
They're not really defending by sitting in their obelisk. They really are controlling sort of the middle of that screen. So when almost like they're catching people on spawns, they're not even giving their enemy a chance to stack up by any means, not get any of those important weapons, deny them completely, keep them on their default weapons, and it's very hard for them to really do much. Cooler going with Visor, which is going to be really useful for him. Cooler, that crack shot with the rail, only going to be exaggerated with that piercing sight. And now here comes the power-up.
Power-up's good though, it goes the way of Miasma, and it's a protection on Anarchy. So even if they do manage to take the soul away, he's going to do a really good job of just stopping them and chasing them down with this. Yeah, just bolting straight in there, trying to keep these guys away. Cooler gets taken down. But again, this is a distinct difference in defending style. They are not defending in the obelisk location. They're really holding outside and not letting them near it. But it's being done to good effect. Oh no, misses that rail by the skin of his teeth.
See how well these guys can continue the defense. The second they catch sight of anyone going towards the obelisk, though, they all do pile inside and just force almost like a 4 versus 1 or 4 versus 2. Looking to be a 4v3 at this stage. That fourth member of game still waiting to come in and just picking them off the rails as they get in, just establishing this ranged game. Really dangerous, and they're taking so much damage before they even get inside the entrance.
Juvenile's accuracy on this rail has been ridiculous so far. 85% and counting already. Miasma looking to a completely uncontested round 1 at this rate.
Yeah, this straight. I mean, this is looking to almost be one of the fastest rounds we've seen so far.
That's not what I was expecting to see, considering who's on either of these teams.
Yeah, there is a hell of a lot of talent on both sides of this team. I mean, just the obvious one being Cooler on game. One of the best players in the world.
Oh my lord, and just like that, 100-0. Complete and utter victory for Miasma. That is one way to start things off. And now we find themselves one round away from taking the first map, just like that.
But the confidence from Miasma has come from, I think, how ready they must feel for sacrifice and how ready they must feel for sacrifice in a competitive setting. That was a clear and precise strategy, where they essentially went, right, we're going to hold our obelisk, but we're going to hold the obelisk outside of our room. We're going to do so much damage to you in the middle of the map, we catch you on spawn. We catch you before you get going. And that way, you don't even get a chance to step near the obelisk.
Both visors popped that piercing sight right as the soul appears. Gibbo able to hold on to it, so Game trying to rush it towards A, see if he can. Oh, she gets hit in the way. Oh, there we go, that's the important one. He's able to activate the obelisk. So even though he did die pretty much straight away, he's able to secure that one for his team. So Miasma were able to get hold of A easily last time. Now won't be able to do the same thing. Now they must go towards B.
Wow, on that note, they have managed to take the soul, but already being headed off by Game. Aniki's going to get there first, but not without being headed off by Nyx, which forces you one. Very cleanly he's fragging that.
Fortune's going to take that kill.
Oh, of course, my mistake. Fortune.
DDK though, ready with the rail.
There we go, trying to go back, but definitely not enough health for that one. Gas goes down as well.
Game are doing a really good job of just making it hard to just put this on the obelisk at all, regardless. Hold on to it.
Now, they had a very clean way of defending obelisk A. I wonder how they're going to make that approach with B, or whether they even have the position on the map to do that, where they are going to almost be forced to take that traditional defense.
Oh, here's the LG duel. Tries to swap to a shotgun, and Cooler's going to take that one over Liths. He's going to fall down. Cooler's going to try and take this one back. Quite low on health.
Well, I think having
armor more than anything else. Juvenile's going to take him down straight away.
That's going to be one of the dangers, being forced in a 1v1 against one of the best duelers on the planet. That's going to be always quite a big ask at any point in the map.
However, though, as we could say that, 3 frags going in the way of Miasma immediately.
Now that power-up's going to spawn in 8 seconds. Looks like Game opted to go for the soul instead of the power-up. That's going to be protection. Sounds like it's gone to Miasma though, which does mean that they made that call.
Indeed, Juvenile's got it. Cooler, interesting choice to just sit here and wait.
I think he's
just trying to wait out the power-up?
I think he's trying to wait out the protection, personally. Looks like he's trying to wait out. Catches Lil's not...
I love that decision, though, because, I mean, the soul's in transit. No one's building up percentages. He's just waiting for the protection to run out.
That was definitely a good idea, but unfortunately hasn't done a huge amount. It does mean the game changer was not going to come from the protection, but either way, they've still been able to retake the soul, and that ball rush is going to be uncontested. Doesn't get hit by a ranger, and Fortune getting turned around with that 180 rail as well, and they've been able to drop off the soul once again.
Good though, 35% and climbing. Good, super shotgun coming out too.
Yeah,
rails are missing narrowly.
Really trying to sort of head him off. Fortune's going to be sort of guiding him, I think, at this stage. Here comes the rest of Miasma, though, lying in wait. Liths takes a frag there. And now Juvenile with a nice amount of health. And enough
armor. One person in the way to stop him from capturing.
But enough armor to tank a rail as well with that 76 health. Make that more than enough with that 25. And here comes Cooler, trying to make it solo. Gets it indeed with a super shotgun. Nice placement from Cooler, good aim. We'll see if they
manages to take it too, drops it down. Did he get the pass correctly?
Well, the difficulty does not come from them taking it. It comes from them actually being able to bring it back to their obelisk. That is where they are struggling, and that is where Miasma is staying so on point.
Oh, Demon gets another bull rush clean through.
That's going to be...
see Game trying to sort of intercept him, but they're just not close enough. That's going to be a couple of percentage at least. Oh, he's got the gauntlet out. There's the injection. Back up to full health, but Caspel's down. Cooler goes down as well. Juvenile. His rail is adding up very quickly.
Demon can't afford to take much of that LG, and he's going to go down as well. Fortune trades it out LG for super shotgun. DDK and Liths both get fragged. Also with that power up in 2 seconds. Fortune trying to steal it.
Oh no, that was an unfortunately timed Ghost Walk, completely concedes it. I do believe, was that Solag that picked it up?
No, Demon Scale Bearer. You're observing it, mate. Here we go, going in with the, he has a bull rush if he wants it. Doesn't even need it at this stage. Gauntlet's not going to do enough.
Him just isn't going to even tickle him at this point, and they're still holding on to this Soul as well. B, almost 80%, 20% left to go. This is incredible. And look at this killing streak.
He's taking 2 health per tick. Scalebearer. The Galactic Warlord laughs in the face of 2 damage acid ticks.
Indeed he does, and Miasma, I do believe they're still holding on to it. Game have their work cut out for them. 90% at least, even if they're contesting, even if they've taken the Soul, look at the difference in points. This is going to be difficult.
This is absolutely looking like Miasma's map at this rate.
That's also the second time that Game have opted to deliberately off-map the Soul to make it respawn in the middle. Do you think that's like a tactic to get it closer to the middle? Sort of more evenly in between when they know they're going to struggle to sort of get it out of the caves.
I think getting the Soul to respawn by forcing
it could just be
reset.
me being a bit too analytical, right? But that's the second time they've chosen to throw it off the map.
Well, either way, that's going to be a very confident map to Miasma, who have gone up 1 map. Now, this was a very confident group of individuals. They've been doing well in
Clearly,
scrims.
that is well-founded confidence, because they played out of their minds, and they took a very convincing and clean map 1.
Well, they've been doing really well in their scrims, as they've been mentioning on social media, and they're clearly ready to play Sacrifice in this setting. Now, Burial Chamber, that predetermined map, again, was a map that was not picked by either player. So they've gone into that one showing they can be really dominant and really prepared. I guess on one hand, they've been able to really sort of almost look at some of the matches that have already been taking place. They know that Burial Chamber is going to be the map, and they've been able to almost just sort of sit in comms and prepare and discuss, right, guys, how are we going to approach this matchup, etc., etc. But to be honest, looking really impressive. I'm really happy with how these guys are playing so far.
Indeed, but 1 map potentially to go if Miasma could take this one too. But Game now get to choose their map, so they'll get to choose something they're a bit more comfortable with, or they just want to play on, which could obviously be Blood Covenant, or Lockbox.
Ruins of Sarnath.
Ruins
well.
of Sarnath.
That's still on the cards. We've seen quite a varied amount. We've not seen a huge amount of Blood Covenant today. I think in general it's not a massively popular map. Again, that partly could be because predetermined map, and then you only have 1 chance to choose a map, and if it's 1 of 3, then there's going to be a certain map that we might not see. But Blood Covenant in particular, we haven't seen a huge amount of today. However, going into this final map, or potentially the final map, Miasma make it to regionals.
Both Ruins and Lockbox we've seen a nice amount of, so I predict it could be one of those 2. But I guess we just have to wait and see what the players are going with, because ultimately there's going to be a lot of pressure on Game.ru right now, because they know that they are maybe 1 map away from not making it at all in Sacrifice to regionals. Because let's not forget, this is the final week of qualifications for Sacrifice, whereas Duel has 4 weeks. Sacrifice has 2, and this is the final map. This is literally the last chance these guys will have to qualify for Quake World Championships.
Well, you know what I find really impressive about Miasma too is that they didn't actually enter last week. This is their debut week in competitive Sacrifice.
Only week to do it as well.
So they had to miss last week, and when you only have 1 tournament to enter, that can almost like put more pressure on you, because you've not had that new tournament experience to sort of feel out a little bit and get comfortable and shake off any potential rust or whatever it may be, as some first tournaments will do. Sometimes when you play for the first time in tournament, there's a lot of nerves there, a lot of emotions that you can be prepared for, but it's going to be new when it comes to playing in Quake Champions on that front. But when this is their debut week and they're playing as well as they are seemingly playing so far, I'm excited to see what they do with future maps. When it came to defending Obelisk A in particular on the Burial Chamber, they had a clear strategy. And it was...
Speaking of clear strategy, though, 2 picks on Lockbox will be the next map. Very much the same liths on this, and Scalebearer. Okay, so still Scalebearer over the Sorlag here, whereas Jibbo sticking on that Sorlag we saw last time. So based on what we've seen today of Sorlag being more successful on Lockbox and Scalebearer being less so, are Miasma going to be able to break the mold on this map today?
I feel like if one team is going to be able to do it, it's a team that's playing as well as Miasma have been so far. But on Game.ru, there is a lot of talent there, all looking to play their hearts out in this set because they want to make it into regionals just as much as everyone else does. So you wonder what we're going to see. I think if Miasma managed to almost break that Scalebearer composition and show that you can win if you don't have a Scalebearer on your team, because it's just good coordination, good strategies. Personally, when it comes to strategies, that's the main thing I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to see how Miasma tackle this map. They've clearly been playing a lot. They're clearly as prepared as they can be. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have techniques for each map of how they choose to defend. We saw elements of that come through when we saw Not Too Fast play last week. They had strategies for all of their maps. Blood Covenant was the real breakout one. We saw it work perfectly of designated points that players would defend and be really difficult to crack into. I kind of feel like we're getting shades of that with Miasma today.
I think that's definitely the case. But my favorite thing about Miasma is how they're playing with just absolute fearlessness.
Yeah.
Like they know the quality of players they're up against, and they're not letting it face them at all, because they know, we might be against some of the best players in the world, but you know what? We're good at this game too. We're good as a unit, and that is what they're proving. Juvenile and this Anarchy missing almost nothing. DDK being that reliable damage dealer. Demon just being a complete train. And obviously Nyx just doing good Nyx things. There's really no other way of saying it. They're all just playing it incredibly well. And the Soul will be up in just 5 seconds time.
So Juvenile's undone a little bit of that damage with the injection, but Jibbo creating so much denial. Let's getting fragged by the acid. DDK looking to control this, but having to pass it back. He knows he can't survive, but the reduced damage Scale Bearer!
Passed it to a Scale Bearer that was mid-charge.
That was sick.
Can you say coordination like it?
Well, they've been able to drop it off, but with only 5% on deck. Oh, never mind. It's just with that buckshot, point blank. Now, Miasma once again hold the obelisk. They have 10% already. How is their defense going to fare? Cooler getting taken out. Now, Cooler has actually made the change to Ranger. Was picking Visor last time, but getting himself a very impressive double kill so far. Looking to make it a triple, but missing a couple of rails. Hasn't got a lot of health, but doesn't matter. Fortune cleans up. DDK gets taken down.
Cooler able to take it away. Has Fortune waiting in the wings to try and take it through, but already Miasma positioned well, and there's a complete charge. Get out of my way. This is my obelisk, and I need to take the soul back to it.
Demon playing very well with this Scale Bearer so far. Nice trail with the Super Nail Gun. Cooler just cannot tank the amount of damage the Super Nail Gun's going to do. Oh, shoots Sorlag in the toes. Get the soul, but for half a second before it gets dropped off again, trying to get out of there. Here comes the chase. Cass with 4 HP, and he cannot survive.
Yeah, DDK with the clutch defend. I mean, to be fair, that's it. Opted to try and take a shortcut through the acid, but was left with a mere 4 health.
One thing, actually, I think we should point out is there's quite a lot of default shotguns on spawn coming through on the side of Miasma. I think they realize they're going to be point blank quite often, and because of that, they're just going to maximize their damage. Here comes DDK with the dual wield, and there's a couple of frags. Good to go. And that passive
again,
giving TDK
another pass to a mid-charge Scale Bearer. This is amazing. With Fortune, though, he's here to make some pain. He's got that protection. He is Nyx. Plenty of help left to go, trying to take the soul away.
That's not the only element. He's got Ghost Walk if he needs it. Here comes Jibbo, knows he can't survive, so he just concedes, drops off the soul, and Cass making the run back. Trying to run rings around him, and he actually does it. Catches him from behind. Speaking of which, a Ghost Moded Nyx looking for the assassination, walking straight into a rocket, though. Fortune getting fragged for his trouble. Cass can't survive either. Cooler manages to pass it on, but
no.
Pasted into the wall. Demon gets the soul back. Oh, poor Cooler.
That was such a good attempt as well, though. But again, Miasma, they are just there, ready and waiting. And again, Lockbox, they're looking super comfortable. Cooler just gets 1v1 by Juvenile. The same weapon, too. Juvenile here looking to get another one, but Fortune says, no, you don't.
Point blank rail. Risky shot. Paid off. Walking right. Jump pad into the missile as well. Ouch. Now, almost 60% up already.
Oh, Cooler goes down, precise rocket. All these just impact rockets. 3 rockets in a row. All of them just being connecting on the dot.
I'm seeing a lot of 100s there.
But already though, Miasma, almost 70% already, and game. The RU yet to get a single percentage onto the tally. This could be a complete clean sweep.
Nyx using that wall jump to just scour up there without taking any self-damage. Anarchy not quite able to make it out there. Juvenile cleaning up, looking for another frag, of which Juvenile will get successfully. Power-up spawning in 15. I mean, like, in 10 seconds, power-up's going to be up. I think Game have to try and go for it. They have no options but to go for that power-up, because I feel like if they let Miasma get this power-up, they probably won't win at all.
As you can say that though, they do have access to the soul, but the power-up, I'm fairly certain, has gone the way of miasma.
I just saw Jibbo's ragdoll just flop down through the corkscrew, so that can't be good.
It's a quad damage as well. Oh, and it's Aniki. He's ready. Here he is, Juvenile. 3 shotgun kills back to back, a clean triple, and he's going through to put this soul back onto A, where this could be the end of round 1 if Game do not get something together. Oh, the 4th one. Ooh.
Is he going for a 6? No teleport caller gets taken out. Juvenile.
Oh God, that's
Someone
7. That's
stop
7.
the carnage. That was just ridiculous. With the default shotgun as well, you can see this is why he's gone for it.
That was it, a 7 kill streak with the default shotgun thanks to quad damage and positioning. Absolutely ridiculous. Juvenile is unstoppable.
DDK's gone for the default shotgun as well. I think they just must realize that in this game in particular, and how close quarters Lockbox is as a map, the default shotgun is the weapon to go with, and they get around dominantly too. What a display from Miasma.
I mean, how often do you see people picking the default shotgun? And how often do you see it work in that setting?
There's the potential that the game is so new, we don't see it used a lot just because strats are still being developed. And clearly, this is a strategy that is being worked.
Start a shotgun on Lockbox, why not?
I mean, you're so consistent.
Even though unfortunately he did just get annihilated there.
Yeah, not in that situation. But, I mean, let's not forget the regular shotgun was recently buffed as well. I think it was the same patch with Clutch, in fact, where it goes, instead of doing 3 damage per pellet, the default shotgun does 4 damage, which has given it that increased damage output that it kind of needed. The regular default shotgun was a little bit weak before then, but now it's just right.
So, right now, the first soul of the game, not only does it go the way of Miasma, they also put it straight back on A, which they just defended amazingly well for the entire round. Fortune, able to take the soul away, needs to get some percentage on the board immediately. They cannot wait anymore. Miasma have too much momentum. They need it to be halted somewhat, at least. Even though he died immediately, at least he was able to put it on the obelisk. So it's going to be a couple of seconds just to control it, just to capture it. So they are at least got something on the board now, even though we can see Miasma are already all here trying to take it back.
But the danger is Fortune is just walking straight into enemy lines. There were so many people there waiting for him to move in, and when he did it, they just take him out. However, Jibbo and Fortune getting a frag. DDK goes down as well. Juvenile soon to follow. And now all 4 of them have been taken out.
Nice little streak by Casto. Jibbo trying to get this back to B as much as he can. Fully stacked on health. Has the heavy armor too, so very tanky right now. Already Miasma here trying to stop it, but Fortune gets the kill. This is exactly what Game need to do. They need to keep this lead steady.
Taking way too many rockets. DDK is going to clean that one, and now they're taking that soul already away. DDK sort of sitting behind, trying to provide that support, being headed off by Cooler, who does manage to take 1 frag. But here comes Demon with the bull rush! Oh.
And once again, Demon just perfectly placing these, doing a great job. But at the same time, Fortune doing an even better job of not letting him go anywhere, running it straight back to B. Oh no, hits the toll. Oh, that was unfortunate. Not only did he make the mistake, but Lith was there ready to punish him straight away.
The second he turned around, he just faced a rail in the eyes. That was a big mistake. That's allowed them to drop it back off. Now, Game though, they do hold the lead. Jibbo with the quad damage. And now they're going to make this assault onto Obelisk A. Every single one of them ready to go. Sorlag with a quad damage acid ready if he needs it. But is he going to get a chance with DDK? Was that just a dual-wielding gauntlet into an enemy with quad damage?
I think DDK just dual-wielded the gauntlet into a quad damage Sorlag.
That was such a BJ Blazkowicz thing to do.
That was such a Blazkowicz thing to do.
Oh my word.
Jibbo's going to get the kill in Juvenile though. Even though we can see that Miasma do have hold of the soul, at least they are starting to add up. Even though Jibbo just ran out of quad damage, they do have the soul now though. Cass trying to get away safely. Squad managing to so far unless he gets intercepted.
Oh, lovely.
Oh yeah, DDK was not able to stop him.
That was such a clean rocket jump, literally straight through DDK's line of sight. Gets fragged, but he's dropped it back off. And now Fortune looking to make that defense once more. Power up. A long time until it's back in play, so this back and forth game, no doubt we're going to see this a little bit more.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, good double from Fortune.
That's a really strong sequence now. It's put them in the lead for the first time in the round. This is exactly what they needed.
It's definitely going better for Game, because most of these rounds have been so one-sided for Miasma. It's so good for Game that they've been able to get this back on the board, get some momentum back in their favor, because so far in this series, they've had none of that. And they trade DDK for Lith.
Oh, nice kill on Demon though by Jibbo. Now Miasma and Forces all come in at the same time. They're starting to struggle a bit. The Ghost Walk comes out, traded out for the ejection. Oh, Jibbo just got that return kill with the acid. Damage over time. Fortune quite low though, 35 HP.
Now 5 seconds away, the power-up's going to spawn. It kind of looks like there's a few members of game though looking to fight for it. Who's going to win this fight? Demon gets the quad damage. Oh, but here comes a Jibbo just through the teleporter. DDK taken up by a quad missile as well. And I think that was a very important quad to get. Here comes a ghost walking. Nyx. Taking a bunch of damage.
Low, 1 health. Juvenile takes the frag. Now Juvenile has been doing quite a lot so far, but Cass able to damage control and get hold of that quad for himself. Now this is a much stronger round for game, as they found themselves 80%, a commanding lead, and a little bit of quad damage left just to get a little that last kill on DDK.
Getting that last little bit of damage, taking out Demon. You can see Juvenile trying to get back there, but passing it on. But then again, Cass gets fragged, but Fortune manages to throw it back just to undo the work they've done.
Unfortunately, catching the Soul and a Rocket at the same time. Cooler's able to control this now. 10% only left to go. This was looking like a strong round for Miasma as well, but ultimately Game making it work now, and Cooler, a nice little streak at the end.
Cooler does ever so slightly miss Nyx, but it's Nyx. She's very hard to hit. Cooler's defense on that rail, very impressive. There we go. It's 1-1 Game, bringing around on the board and staying alive. Definite signs of life here.
That's what we need to see though, because ultimately, you know, the pressure is on them right here. Miasma 1 round away from not even just winning the set and making them their way to regionals, but just eliminating Game in the process. And we saw Game get quite close last week, and once again they find themselves in a similar situation. But a really good return round. You know, things were looking very shaky at the start, but they were able to bring something together.
Now here comes Cooler with an immediate start using his Dire Orb. He's got a short cooldown, trying to go for the Gauntlet, but doesn't quite get away from it. Juvenile with the Super Shotgun frag here. Now who's going to get that Soul first? Cass manages to get it, passes it on to Cooler, who now has a nice amount of health. But will he be able to survive long enough? Probably not.
Oh, passes it back over to Cass.
Oh!
Cass picked it up, 50 health.
This gets that rail. Here we go, dropping it back. Now they are dropping it off to B instead. And this time around they're starting to hold this one off. Can he drop it off?
He did indeed. So they've chosen B this time. So the game going to be left with A. So all 3 rounds actually going differently this time. Quite interesting.
Missing a couple of those rails. And now here comes the attack.
Oh, not missing that one though.
He's quite weak though, only with 25 HP, can't really afford to get hit. Lovely pass, immediately out there, Cooler trying to get out, but gets taken out by a rail. Halfway through now, they need to salvage this Soul, trying to chuck it back, which they do manage to do.
Oh, I'd say Litz was missing a few rails at the start. He's not missing him anymore. He's got it together, and just like that, he's managed to guarantee his team 15% and counting. Say climbing and counting at the same time. That's not a word.
Almost was. Now, the thing is, again, Miasma are taking that approach to try and dominate the outside. There's going to be a couple of people sitting there, but for the most part, their defense is taking place outside of the room. This is what we saw in Burial Chamber. Cass looking to get the Soul back, but just eating a lot of rockets for his trouble. Can he survive long enough? Trying to dodge, but no, DDK cleans that one.
This is actually what we saw Game do to them last round, though, is just constant control from above, shooting down Liths, getting that shotgun kill. As the Ghost Walk comes out, there's a big fight coming out here, still going on. Cooler alive! Cooler commits suicide in the progress, though. That is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he's going to trade 1 for 1. The Soul's been taken away once more. Cass looking to try and take it away. 42% already for Miasma. No doubt, percentage needs to get taken for Game. Did just hit enemy as the protection. That does mean that Miasma are likely to have that protection in hand.
Cass opting not to drop it off, though.
I think, again, he's just trying to wait out the protection. He just doesn't want to even deal with that protection at all. Stay alive for as long as possible.
But if you're gonna stall, you know, surely it makes sense to at least stall near your obelisk. So if you do drop it, you're not having to put up that much.
I think Cass is just running away. Like, he doesn't even want to drop it off, because the second he drops it off, they're going to take it. Using the protection. Quite a popular strategy. Game have done that. But we saw Cooler do that on Burial Chamber too, where he's trying to waste time, but doesn't manage to do it enough. But does keep them near the base, so they've got an entire road to take if they want to bring it back to Obelisk B.
Fortunate to get that return kill, though. Throwing it towards, but dies in the process. Most likely Miasma going to be able to pick this one up and run away. Oh, tries to throw it away to Ghostwalk, I think, but does die anyway. DDK does go down too, but Juvenile's going to get that return frag mid-air as he has the Soul. You see he's just used the speed boost of his injection as a teammate nearby. One person standing in his way.
Using that teleport just to try and be a little bit more unpredictable, but it does look to me like there's a Jibbo waiting in line for him. Can he frag him? Can he keep him from dropping off?
The important thing is, though, he's got friends with him.
Yeah, it's a 2 versus 1.
Game have someone here too.
That's a 2v1. Fortune, though, it's actually taken minimal damage. even though we got those rockets. Fortune dead anyway.
Miasma 50% on the board though, half the work is done, but game here in numbers once again, 2 of them here, 2 of them on the way now. Caller able to take it, drops the soul up, but we can see he hasn't got any teammates up there ready to grab it. Yeah, he has to go and follow it up. Cass is able to get into position, and look at the speed!
Yeah, he made that real marathon all the way back. Anarchy, just an invaluable member of any composition, clearly. Now the power-up's going to spawn. We are starting to reach another stage, where that power-up might be the deciding factor between winning and losing, because if game can get the power-up and hold it, they'll get some of that. Oh,
oh, that is unfortunate.
It even made that little dink noise when it hit the roof.
Fortune has the protection though. This could be bad for Miasma. He's going to head towards, yeah, he is. He's going towards B. He wants to catch them on the way. Juvenile once again waiting it out, actually doing the same thing again. This is interesting.
Once they hear
this tactic.
I think once they hear that it's the protection, it's a bit too obvious for them to try and drop it off. As you can see, Fortune really on the warpath, but Juvenile's gone all the way around. I think we actually heard the tick go down. By the time he drops it off, the protection's now going to be run out, which means he's probably timing it too.
That was really smart. I really like the strategy. Both these teams have been doing it to just wait out as long as possible. Fortune trying to get a kill on Demon, he gets it, but in the process, Miasma were able to drop off the soul. Start building that up again. DDK getting ambushed, but he does survive. Fortune isn't able to finish him off. Oh, DDK returning that frag again. Demon running it straight back into its home.
And now 70% up. They just need 30%, and Miasma will be making the regionals to play for a spot of the Quake World Championship Finals. Will they be able to pull this off? They've been very confident on social media. They believe in each other and their ability to get this done. Moments away from being able to realize what they know they're capable of, I think.
I mean, that for good reason. Their play speaks for itself. They're doing so good together. As we can say, that Game Eye here trying to mount this attack, take the soul away. DDK goes down. Jibbo did a good job here as well, but no, he will fall too. And Fortune gets that gauntlet kill up above, trying to take this one back. You can see Cass has been doing a good job of running it around so far. That's Soul currently on the floor. There we go, Caller gets it.
Going to be one of the drawbacks of default shotgun, though, is minimal damage from range. If you're in a situation where you have nothing better, here comes Demon using the sort of damage reduction. Rocket jump over the acid to deny. Just actually letting Jibbo
rather take a bit of damage from the rocket jump to get in there clean than running through acid and giving Sorlag that instant awareness of where he's going to be.
Things are getting a bit dangerous now. Only 5% left. The power-up has spawned, though. Here comes a Fortune with the protection in hand.
It is 99, he's getting kept away!
Oh,
they kept him away! They used the LGs to push him away as far as possible so he couldn't contest. Amazingly played by Miasma, and they're going to be taking it over Game.ru, and we will be seeing them again at the regional finals.
I think that's just a very fitting way to end that series, in that it was just a decision that only really works in sacrifice. The game tends to go, guys, get your LGs out, keep him away, don't let him near us, because the second he goes near, he's not going to go down. If he goes down, he's wasted.